Aaron Rodgers, when he wasn't failing to rattle off the names of any Nicolas Cage movies other than Con Air, he was addressing the elephant in the room, the departure of Davante Adams and the apparent expectation that his shoes will be filled by Allen Lazard. Here's Rodgers having a little fun at the transition from Adams to Lazard.
Yeah, I mean, it's always tough going from Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer. From Davante to Allen, it's going to be, a transition. But he's capable of a lot. And the way things have gone with the reps and the guys that we've had here and the targets that we've doled out, he hasn't had a ton of opportunities. But he's since his first day here, he's turned heads, and so it's not surprising him to go out and have a really consistent day today. But he's been working hard. He has a lot to prove, I think, to himself and other people, maybe to the team as well. So I like a hungry Allen Lazard, and it'll be an adjustment for us, but I'm happy with day one.
Lazard had a career year in 2021, 40 catches, 513 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Those are not eye-popping numbers, but he was playing second fiddle at best to Davante Adams. Now, he's the one who potentially steps into the number one role. We've talked so much about Christian Watson coming through the door as a second-round pick with the expectation that he takes over.
Yeah.
Lazard is the one who has the opportunity, and he held out, rightfully so. He wasn't signed. He had a restricted free agency tender at just a handful of millions when you've got guys scratching up against $30 million a year at the top of the market. He signed his tender in June on the last day before the team could have done a hardball move and reduced the tender, et cetera, et cetera. So he missed a lot of the offseason program. So like Aaron Rodgers, he wasn't there for a lot of the stuff that they did, the work that they did in April, May, and June. But now he's there doing what he has to do, and he has his opportunity to be the number one guy, and then parlay that into free agency next year unless he would be franchise tagged. And there's already an expectation, Chris, you may have heard this. He's landing in Denver next year. He and Nathaniel Hackett are going to be together again come next year, barring something that would cause the Packers to keep him there. And if you want to keep him there, Packers, you know what you do.
Yeah.
You don't sit on your financial offer until February or March once he has his opening to leave, and then it doesn't matter how much you offer. You do it now. You do it sooner rather than later. You make him an offer he won't refuse now because it gives him security beyond this year as he carries injury risk and the risk that maybe he doesn't have a great year. You want to keep him there long term? You want to listen to what Aaron Rodgers said yesterday? You do it now because it's only going to be more expensive after the season if he has a good season, obviously, and it's only going to be more likely he makes a beeline for Denver if you give him any opening like you did with Davante Adams.
Yeah, I hear you. Again, hey, players are always accustomed to kind of going with guys they know, and it sounds like there must have been a relationship there between Hackett and Allen Lazard. But we'll see. There's a lot of things to play out first, too. We know there's a lot of good receivers in Denver, so there might not be a spot for him. And Allen Lazard's a good football player. I think he's somebody that they've kind of undervalued there in Green Bay, in my opinion. He's got very good size. He's got enough speed to scare you deep. He's a pretty good route runner. He's got good hands and all of that. So he can do just about everything on the football field. Is he a superstar? No. But I could see this being a year where, he is, one of the main focuses at the wide receiver position for the offense. He has a good year, and they do try to sign him, and he ends up being, in Green Bay for an extended period of time under a pretty good contract and a pretty good number. I could see that. I think he's got that type of talent. I don't think they have any choice but to make him, like we talked about a little yesterday, Mike, number 1 or 2. I mean, they don't have a choice there. I mean, he's got to be that guy. And from everything Rodgers just said right there, going from Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer, which is unbelievable, amazing timing comment there. And I do think that shows that Rodgers, that probably bothered them that Davante Adams said that when he's like, wait, I'm in like the Hall of Fame of Hall of Fame. This guy hasn't won a playoff game, and you're saying we're going Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer. That was a bad comment by Davante Adams. He tried to clarify. But, I don't think they got a choice. Allen Lazard and then Watson, you mentioned, he had a little knee surgery procedure, so he's certainly going to be the guy that's going to be the focus of the offense here early on in camp.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Packers need to replace the production and the presence, the fear that Davante Adams strikes into the opposing defense. It's easy to just say, well, other guys will step up. But whether it's Davante Adams or Tyreek Hill, you take away a guy who commands extra attention, who keeps defensive coordinators up later at night than they otherwise would be, coming up with ways to neutralize that player. That changes the rest of the defense because there's still only 11 guys. And if you've got 2 assigned to 1, you only got 9 left for the other 10.
Yeah.
So now you've got defenses that can just say, we're just gonna play our package. We're not gonna do anything special. We're not gonna roll coverage one way or the other. We're gonna play. We're gonna try to get after the quarterback, and we're gonna cover these guys one-on-one until one of them proves that they can burn us on a consistent basis like Adams could.
Right. No, I don't disagree with anything you're saying there. There's no pressure there. There's no, guy that's, wait, we got to double him. We got to do this. Now it's going to let defenses play plays more a little bit, which can be scary. Oh, wait, on third downs, we know they like to do this or attack this area, so we could just play that. We don't care where, star receiver is, where they usually make him the number 1 read. So they can play that way. And I think what's double scary here is, again, we knew this was not the best receiving core, in the history of football anyways. It doesn't really, it doesn't scare people. And even with Davante Adams, as awesome as he was, he's not the kind of guy that you get scared of and go, oh my gosh, he's going to beat us over the top for 70-yard touchdowns all day. It was about, his unbelievable route running and timing and rhythm and the way they called plays within the offense. I mean, again, last year, the second leading receiver on the football team you're seeing here is Allen Lazard with 513 yards. But the real second leading receiver on the football team with reception is Aaron Jones. I mean, so there is big-time questions here about who is going to, come to the top of the pack here and be the guy or be, the 2 or 3 guys that can really stress defenses and make some plays for the offense where Rodgers doesn't always have to do it with a great throw and a pinpoint accuracy and an unbelievable decision. And that's what bothers me about Green Bay. They asked Aaron Rodgers to do this a lot. And that's why I think he's, in my opinion, a little underrated in the pantheon of quarterbacks.
By the way, those of you who listen carefully to the program, and thank you for that, may have noticed that yesterday we said we were going to have a draft of the best receiving corps in the NFL, and we ultimately didn't do it because there was too much news to get to. We're doing it today, and it is safe to say the Packers will not occupy one of the positions in any of the 3 rounds of the draft, but there are some pretty good receiving corps out there.
There is.
Chris, there aren't enough spots for all these guys on some of these teams.
I know.
And you could have a team like the Packers swoop in with a 6th-round pick in late August to snatch one of these guys before they go to waivers. And a team like the Packers so far down on the pecking order, they're never going to have a shot at the guy.
I hear you. I'll believe it when I see it. I mean, Green Bay's always, they're trying to trade for somebody. They tried to sign somebody. They tried to get Stephon Gilmore. They didn't have enough money. They tried to get OBJ. They tried to get Antonio Brown. They tried to get, who did we hear about yesterday? Julio Jones.
Julio Jones.
I mean, it's they should just put "they tried" and then ... We're the Green Bay Packers. I mean, it's constant.
The Bart Simpson cake gif. At least you tried.
Yeah.
As he throws it into the garbage can. And I wonder how much of that, we're going to go a little unscripted here. I wonder how much of that is just that lingering notion, draft and develop.
Yeah.
Ted Thompson. Well,
right.
2 things.
Yeah.
2 things coming together. The Ted Thompson draft and develop mindset and the let's act like we're trying to go get these guys. Let's act like we tried to keep Davante Adams so Aaron Rodgers doesn't get pissed off at us. Let's act like we tried to get Odell Beckham Jr. to placate Aaron Rodgers, and it worked last year. Let's act like we tried to get Julio Jones. Let's act like we want to keep Allen Lazard, even though we're going to drag our feet all season long, and then wait until the Denver Broncos offer less money than we're willing to pay, but hey, he just wants to play in Denver. Hey, there's nothing we can do about it. Sorry, at least we tried. I mean, that's the attitude. You're right. So it's an institutional approach coupled with the ability to outsmart Aaron Rodgers. And this gets back to something we said back in June, I think. I don't know. It's all one big blur. they have, I think, just outsmarted him on this. They've made him think. They've done a Jedi mind trick on him that they're actually trying to make the receiving corps better when they really aren't.
I don't disagree with you there. I mean, there's something there. I mean, again, yeah, I think you said it right to a degree. Rodgers, I think, is reluctant to want to leave or pull the trigger on that matter. I mean, I think there's that. I think they know that. I think they know that he probably enjoys being king of the castle there in Green Bay and play to that. But, yeah, to me, it's just frustrating in that manner as we talk about all the time, whether it's any great quarterback, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, what they got going on right now. You know, we've said it, of course, about Mahomes and Josh. I mean, you know, you got a guy. It's time to go all in. And we've been saying that for 8 years, with 9 years for Aaron Rodgers. And that's just, to me, what it's as a fan of quarterbacks and as a fan of Aaron Rodgers that, you know, again, I'll say it, when you take the 6 or 7, 8 best years of a quarterback ever, I'm going to take Aaron Rodgers. I don't think I ever saw anybody at their highest level play to his level of football. I know Brady is the GOAT and all that, and that just as a fan of quarterbacks and all of that, it bothers me that he's never gotten the firepower maybe some of the other great quarterbacks have had.
And it bothers him.
That's
what's so amazing about this. It does. Last year, introductory press conference, he downloaded all of his complaints and grievances about what the Packers have failed to do, to include him, to talk to him. See, they have figured out how to handle him. That's been the big difference between last year and this year. Last year, he was pissed off. And between last year and this year, they've kissed his ass enough for him to think everything's fine. But what are they actually doing? They let his guy Davante Adams leave. They didn't get OBJ when OBJ was available. And ultimately, what did the Rams do? It wasn't money. They showed him the love. They acted like they wanted him. Julio Jones picks Tampa Bay over Green Bay. It's just one after another, but they're doing enough that Aaron Rodgers isn't mad. And you know, shame on the Packers for not realizing years earlier that you don't have to do what the guy is suggesting. You just have to listen to him. You have to have an attitude other than, you just work here, Aaron. Go throw the football, and the grown-ups will worry about who's going to be on the team. He just wanted to be heard, obviously, because he's not mad that they've failed time after time and occasion after occasion to go out there and find a veteran who's going to make that receiving corps better. Yeah, they used a second-round pick on Christian Watson, and he could end up being great. I know he's one of your guys. But this is about proven commodities who are available, and they're not making the move to go get him. Now watch, they'll probably sign OBJ today.
I mean, you said it right, and I understand him being bothered by that. You know, again, we can go through the great quarterbacks of all time, and you can start to go through it, and you go, well, they had a lot of fire. They had some firepower, like no matter where they went or whatever. You know, so it hurts his overall perception. People don't realize how good he is, so that's got to bother him. You know, he's been, you know, with Mike McCarthy, who everybody kind of makes fun of to a degree now with, you know, game management and play calling, and he won a Super Bowl with him. And, you know, they were expected to win the Super Bowl every year. That was one thing I tried to explain to people. It wasn't that good of an offense. It was just Rodgers making magic all the time. So I understand that. And then, hey, I think even that comment he had there, you know, it's hard going from Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer. Yeah, that might have been a shot at Davante Adams, too. I think it's a shot at his own team, too, to go like, oh, yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks for letting me go from this guy to unproven commodity Allen Lazard. So I understand his frustrations at times. I do. It's very tough. And, you know, Green Bay, in my opinion, has failed him to a degree in that department. And now you go into this year where he's making $50 million a year, and we know he's really good still. I got that. But I don't think they're going to be able to just, you know, they're going to have to play, I think, a somewhat of a little different style of football. I don't think they're going to be as good as efficient and explosive on the offensive side of the ball with Davante Adams. I don't see that happening. You know, I could see their defense being more of a threat this year. They got a lot of talent there. They might play maybe run the football, defense. Hey, Rodgers, it's 3rd and 7. Now throw a laser for us. I wouldn't be shocked to see them play that style of football with the way their roster looks.
Before we continue on with more things regarding the Packers and more from what Aaron Rodgers had to say, I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
And in our effort yesterday to unpack every layer and level of the Julio Jones to Tampa Bay story, there's one thing that I didn't think of.
Yeah.
And I've been reminded of it as we've been talking for the past few minutes. Question. How differently would you have felt about the news of Julio Jones joining the Buccaneers if instead of Jones, it had been Odell Beckham Jr.?
That would have excited me a little bit more. It would have, yeah. That would have excited me a little bit more. Not we know OBJ is coming off an injury, but to me would be the end product. A little bit like last year, like, oh man, if they can, stay healthy at the receiver position and let him just take his time here, they could get to early November and OBJ is 100% go, and that would be scary. And I'd go, oh no, that would be really scary for football teams. I mean, with Godwin, Evans, and OBJ, holy cow, yeah. So that would make me feel a little bit different for sure.
It finally dawned on me yesterday when I was looking at the things that Todd Bowles, the coach of the Buccaneers, had to say about why they signed Julio Jones. And one of the things he said is last year we were ravaged by injuries.
Yeah.
So this year when it happens, if it happens, we don't want to be just, we got to grab this guy, we got to grab this guy. Good players aren't available then. So fine, all the more reason to tuck OBJ into your back pocket if that's your concern. If this isn't, we're bringing in Julio Jones to make an immediate impact on this depth chart and help us from week one. If this is about having depth and flexibility and the ability to pivot from one guy to the next if guys get injured, OBJ, he'll only get healthier as the season goes on. So that's when it finally flickered for me. Too little, too late, but I wanted to ask you about it because I would have been more excited, frankly, about Odell Beckham Jr. and Tom Brady getting together after a long-standing mutual admiration between the two guys. I would have felt more excited about that for the Buccaneers than Julio Jones. That doesn't mean Jones is going to be a bust for them, but
He's
I just
older.
think a healthy OBJ would have been a difference maker, and maybe the Packers will wake up and snatch him. We said this before hiatus, Chris.
I know.
The longer the Rams wait to sign Odell Beckham Jr., the greater the chance someone else is going to jump and grab him before the Rams can.
They're playing with fire, I think it's calculated, though. I do. I think, again, as we talk about all the time, right? The Rams, they communicate about as good as anybody. And I think the lines of communication are probably open. The fact that OBJ showed up at Sean McVay's wedding, unannounced, that tells you that there's a relationship there. Aaron Donald talking about, I want OBJ back if I come back and all that type of stuff. So he got a house out in L.A. So they have the inside track. But I don't disagree with you. You're right. I mean, if it starts like, hey, I'm getting close, I'm getting a little healthier here. And, man, I mean, if Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay are calling and Mahomes and Kansas City are calling, and he's like, hey, Rams, what's up? And they're kind of giving him the, hey, can you wait a few more weeks, all that type of stuff. Yeah. I mean, at some point he's going to have to make a decision, and it's going to be one of those type of teams that goes and gets him, and he doesn't want to play for anything else than that. So I hear you. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.